Hello and welcome back to another Stonksy video. Today's clip is going to be from one of the live streams where we looked at one of the most interesting and discussed topics in the industry, which is to do with MicroStrategy's buys from the debt offerings that they raised via convertible senior notes. Obviously, it's one of the biggest topics to discuss with the company raising so much money, especially over the last few months that we've seen. So we cover what is a convertible senior note, how it works. Also, can MicroStrategy potentially find themselves in hot water if Bitcoin was to drop down to certain levels? And also outline some potential levels where the company may have to sell Bitcoin if the price was to drop that low. So again, it is one of the most fascinating topics in the industry, given how much Bitcoin they hold and the vast amount of debt that they've raised. So enjoy the video. Make sure you drop a like on it, and if you happen to be new, do subscribe. Also, make sure you check the links in the description. You can sign up to BLOFIN with a non-KYC account. You can do that in under a minute as well with the fast process. Also, we are still running the Bot 20 discount across first-time memberships. So if you haven't tried Stonksy yet and you want to, you do get access to the indicator, the Discord server, and of course the trading bots that we run on BLOFIN. You do get 20% off your first month, and remember, it's a no contract plan as well, so you can treat it as a trial month if you wish. Come and give it a go, and of course with the results, hopefully you will want to stay. So yeah, that's all for this video from me anyway. We'll hop into the clip now and discuss MicroStrategy's buys, how they do it, and potentially how they may look in the future if the market starts to take a downturn. Thank you very much. So I thought it would be interesting just to come on here, and while we're on stream, we could just literally just ask Grok to tell us exactly what convertible notes are. Maybe we could ask it some interesting questions regarding if it'll answer anything to do with, you know, strategy or any other company, you know, that's doing these convertible notes. So I think the first thing to do is provide a summary of what a convertible senior... Oh,
I was hoping you were going to do that because I don't know what it is.
So here we go. So a convertible senior note is a type of debt security issued by a company that combines features of a bond with an option to convert into equity at a predetermined price or conversion rate. Here's a summary. So it's a debt instrument. It's a loan made by investors to the issuing company, paying periodic investment in brackets coupon and returning principal at maturity like a standard bond. Senior status: it ranks higher than other unsecured debt and equity in events of bankruptcy, giving holders priority in claiming assets. So I assume it gives the investors better kind of insurance on them lending the money. Conversion feature: holders can convert the note into a set number of the company's shares, usually at a fixed conversion price, allowing potential upside if the stock price rises. Hybrid nature: issuer benefits. So this is probably a good one. Companies issue these to raise capital. So obviously we know why companies are doing that now, to buy Bitcoin. And the risks: investors face credit risk if the company default, and the conversion value depends on stock performance. If the stock underperforms, the note may only return the bond's face value plus interest. So that's obviously a nice little rundown of what a convertible note is. If you didn't know, me myself, I've actually never really utilized an AI to just tell me what it is. So that's obviously good to know. We've got some more people in the chat. Big thank you to everyone that's joined. Do make sure you drop a like on the stream. So have you got anything to comment on that, or shall we move on to the next one?
I must admit, I'm none the wiser, actually. I didn't quite understand all that, actually. But yeah, I'll have to read that again slowly.
So I think in summary, it's a way for a company to obviously take on debt. Investors put the money in, then they get offered a potential upside by getting shares of the company. And the idea is that, you know, come maturity, they will have seen a profit.
Okay.
But if the stock underperforms, the note may only return the bond's face value plus interest. So I'm guessing that, you know, the risk for investors is minimal, because according to Grok anyway, even if the stock underperforms, the note will still return the face value plus interest. So,
okay. So what's the risk for the actual company?
Well, this is what we'll go on to.
Yeah.
So let's ask it, because I think that's the big thing, isn't it? You know, people are wondering, aren't they? You know, they're wondering, well, what is essentially the repercussions of this, if any? So let's just ask it. Let's say.
I must admit, Grok is brilliant, actually. I use it all the time now.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's much better than ChatGPT.
It is. There are certain things that I do use ChatGPT for. Like, I was trying to work out today if something was written by AI, and I actually asked Grok about it, and it said, "Oh, I can't read that URL." So I asked ChatGPT, and it said, "Yeah, sure. Here's the problem." So
Yeah.
I use both, to be honest.
Okay, we're definitely not going to read all that. If you want to read all this for whatever reason, just type it into Thingo. I don't think we should. Oh, here we go. Let's read the conclusion then. Let's read the conclusion.
Yeah.
MicroStrategy's issuance of convertible senior notes to fund Bitcoin purchases exposes it to significant risk, primarily tied to Bitcoin's volatility, debt repayment obligations, and potential shareholder dilution. Regulatory uncertainties and macroeconomic factors like rising interest rates further complicate this strategy. While the approach has yielded gains during Bitcoin bull markets, a sustained downturn or operational missteps could jeopardize financial stability, making the strategy highly speculative. That's interesting because that does kind of make it sound like they are taking a massive risk, and it's not kind of this risk-free, Bitcoin number go up, never face risk or anything. So I suppose we'll say, if you want us to ask anything as well, if you've got any burning questions that you'd like to ask.
Tell you what, Stonksy on the 5 minute on Bitcoin has just gone green. It hasn't been green for a long time. I did just do a little long.
Let's ask it this. So I've asked it, could MicroStrategy be forced to sell Bitcoin if investors of the convertible senior notes want their money back? So it says, yes, MicroStrategy could be forced to sell Bitcoin to meet repayment obligations for its convertible senior notes if investors demand their money back, particularly under specific circumstances tied to the notes terms. Again, we probably aren't going to read all that. But if you do want to read this, type it into Grok, or maybe ChatGPT will give you the same answer. Let's read the conclusion though. MicroStrategy could be forced to sell Bitcoin if note holders demand repayment, e.g. at repurchase dates or maturity, and if the company lacks sufficient cash or alternative funding. The risk is heightened if Bitcoin and MicroStrategy's stock prices are low, preventing conversion and requiring cash settlement. While the company has flexibility to raise capital or rely on Bitcoin appreciation, a combination of bearish market conditions and large-scale repayment demands could necessitate Bitcoin sales, potentially at unfavorable prices, undermining its long-term strategy. Well, isn't that interesting?
Well, say what would there be worldwide consequences if this happened or something like that? Trying to think how to phrase it really.
I suppose. Hang on. Because then we'll have cleared it up, and then we can I might get this clipped up, to be honest, because this is good. What MSTR or Bitcoin price could MicroStrategy? Let's ask it. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's nothing. Let's wait for the conclusion, and then we'll move on to something else. Then let's wait for the conclusion to see if it gives us any price. So it has actually given us some. So potential Bitcoin price threshold for sale. So it says there is no single liquidation price for MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings, as the notes are unsecured and lack collateral-based liquidation triggers. However, forced sales may occur if Bitcoin's price drops significantly and MicroStrategy cannot meet cash repayment obligations through other means. So basically, if they need to pay back money and they can't raise more money to then pay off, the other debt, then obviously their only way, if they haven't got the cash on them, is to sell Bitcoin. So a conservative estimate is 16.5k. Moderate scenario is 30 to 40k, and an extreme scenario is a Bitcoin price below 10k.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it would be.
No, not bad, not terrible. I mean, it's interesting that it's actually gave us some figures, which is good. So, and there's obviously reasons for all these as well. It gives you, good reasons for why it's giving you each price estimate, so that's good. Stock price influence, mitigating factors. Yeah, so do make sure if you want to read any of this, just pause the stream or come back to it later, and obviously you can just pause it on all these sections if you want to, but we'll read the conclusion again and then we'll move on to a different topic. So MicroStrategy is unlikely to face forced Bitcoin sales unless Bitcoin's price falls significantly to any 16,500 or lower, and its stock price is too low to encourage note conversion, e.g. below $300. A more realistic threshold is 30 to 40k, where debt repayment pressures could mount if multiple notes mature or holders demand repurchase and financing options are limited. The company's ability to issue new debt, raise equity, and benefit from Bitcoin's appreciation reduces this risk. But a prolonged bear market combined with a lower MSTR stock price could necessitate sales, particularly around key maturity dates, e.g. 2027, 29. So these are a couple years off from now. No specific MSTR or Bitcoin price guarantees for sales, but the $16,500 Bitcoin level is widely cited worst case benchmark. Note, always consult MicroStrategy's latest SEC filings. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So there we go. I think we can finally maybe put that issue to bed and kind of come back to the stream. So there we go. Hopefully that provided some good information for everyone, for those of you that were wondering or, never thought where to look or how to attain that data.